Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at what might be the ultimate breaking point of the American Revolution, Thomas Paine's common sense.
Specifically Section 3 from January 1776.
Right, and this is where Paine argues not just for separation, but that any hope for reconciliation with Britain was, well, completely over. Impossible.
You know, it's hard to overstate the impact of this pamphlet. Before Paine, the debate was mostly about getting a better deal, about colonists' rights within the empire.
A family dispute.
Exactly. But when this text hits the streets in Philadelphia, everything changes. Paine's whole point is that the period of debate is closed.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack that. How did he convince a population that was still, pretty attached to the crown that the conversation was finished?
Well, his first point is that they've already tried everything. He says, look, every quiet method for peace has been ineffectual.
All the petitions, the appeals.
All of it. He says they were rejected with disdain. So he translates that political failure into this really shocking call to arms. He says, since nothing but blows will do, for God's sake, let us come to a final separation.
It's a total shift from diplomacy to divorce. But hold on, what about the emotional attachment? This idea of Britain as the parent country was so deeply ingrained.
And that's the genius of it. He attacks that myth head on.
He doesn't just ignore it.
Not at all. He calls that phrase false, selfish, narrow, and ungenerous. He completely reframes the story. America isn't England's child. It's an asylum for the persecuted from all of Europe.
So if Europe is the parent, then America owes no special loyalty to the British king who was doing the persecuting.
Precisely. And once he severs that emotional tie, he moves on to the practical economic harms of staying connected.
Which is really where he hits them where it hurts, right? It's not just an idea, it's about their livelihood.
Absolutely. He warns that staying linked to Britain exposes them to unnecessary wars and quarrels. He says America is just being used as the make-weight in the scale of British politics.
A pawn, basically.
A pawn, a lever. Something Britain uses to get an advantage in its own European conflicts. So when war breaks out between England and France or Spain, American trade just goes to ruin.
Their prosperity is sacrificed for British interests. And then he uses that brilliant analogy.
Oh, it's perfect. He says it's absurd for a continent to be governed by an island. As he puts it, nature never made the satellite larger than its primary planet.
It's just simple, undeniable logic.
And that logical point becomes the pivot for his final emotional hammer blow. He argues that any real reconciliation is now just a fallacious dream.
Because too much has happened.
Way too much. He says it's impossible where wounds of deadly hate have pierced so deep. To try and patch things up now would be forced and unnatural.
And that's where you get one of the most powerful lines in American history. The blood of the slain, the weeping voice of nature cries, 'tis time to part.
It's pure moral urgency. This isn't about taxes anymore. It's about justice. It's about a moral duty to separate. And he says they have to do it now.
Why the urgency? Why right then?
Because they had the unity. They had the military experience. He says this is their one chance to begin the world over again.
So the final takeaway here is that Paine's real achievement was translating these, high-minded philosophical ideas into a simple, urgent, and very powerful call to action.
He gave the revolution a moral purpose. He even framed it as a universal cause, saying the cause of America is in great measure the cause of all mankind.
It's so much bigger than just 13 colonies.
It is. And that brings us to this really provocative final thought. Paine's ultimate demand was that in America, the law is king. He says the actual crown, the symbol of monarchy, should be demolished and scattered among the people.
So the power rests with the people, through the law.
Right. But it leaves you with a question that resonates even today. If the law is king, what happens when the people feel that the law itself has become unjust? That's the revolutionary idea right there.